everybody knows who you are. So talk about the biggest difference coming into the season.
I think the biggest difference is definitely going to be just not being able to sneak up on anybody, not being able to get a fastball when I think I'll get a fastball, and just be able to just go out there every day with an approach and to just stick to that no matter what other people are saying and what we're doing.
You've probably heard it a million times, maybe that's what the first question was, but you know, the league has the book on it. I mean, he says, you know, if you have to take walks, you take walks, but do you anticipate it being difficult? Maybe in high school, after you had a great sophomore year, suddenly you're thinking more pitches different. What have you been thinking in that regard?
You know, I can only prepare myself the best I can when it comes to the aspect of the sport and obviously everything that goes along with it. But, you know, obviously, you know, it's in the back of my mind, you know, that I might have to take walks and I might be intentionally walked. But, you know, in my opinion, I see that as a good thing. That's another person that can get on base and help our team win. And if you know, that's what it takes, then I'm willing to do that, you know, 100 times.
Did you have to adjust to that last year, maybe after, you know, some folks got you on film?
Yeah, you know, definitely, you know, it's a difficult adjustment because you obviously want to go out there and be the guy every day, and everybody wants to be that guy. And so it was frustrating, I would say, at first to you know, to take walks when you feel like, you know, if you had a shot that you'd you know, give your team a chance. But I know that there's 8 other guys out here that, you know, want that, itching for that chance as well. So it's one of those things. If they walk me, well, they got a couple other guys coming up that are going to be itching just as hard as I am.
Did you watch other guys? I think Bryce Harper maybe is a great comparison to you. Do you ever watch a guy like that and think, wow, how would I handle those situations, knowing that, you know, chances are I'm not going to get the pitch?
You know, all the time. I pick 3 guys like him, Miguel Cabrera, you know, obviously Bryce Harper, and Josh Hamilton is one of the guys I've followed you know, since I was real little, and it's one of those things that you just you try to key on the things that they key on. The thing that, you know, that all 3 of those guys do well is when they do miss and they make a mistake, they make them pay. And you know, to be zoned in on a pitch, you know, every pitch is just, you know, a big key to that, not taking pitches or at bats off.
How's the transition going for you over at first base? Do you feel more comfortable?
Yes, 100%. I would tell you the first 2 days there, I was like, wow, this ball comes a lot faster from first base than it does from right. So that was a little scary adjustment, but I think every day is just another step closer to getting to the point where I feel 100% comfortable. And even coming back from the fall, I feel 3 or 4 times, you know, more comfortable than I did even during the fall. So, you know, it's just a work in progress, and the coaches are giving me every opportunity, every ability that I can have to have that confidence level.
What were your takeaways from playing in the college national team this summer? I mean, that was, I guess, an extra practice for you or whatever. But the overall experience, how was that for you?
You know, it's one of those things, you know, when you're playing with the best players in the country and the best players from other countries. It's one of those things that, you know, you take away, you know, just a little bit of humility. Like going out there and seeing, you know, Cuba, and it's a pretty scary place, and you know, it's not one that I would say is anywhere like ours in the United States. But those guys play hard, and they play with whatever they got. And, you know, they have one bat, they have a glove that's broken, no big deal. They play with it, and they play hard. And those kids are good. And I think almost as a whole United States team, we all took away from that was, wow, you know, these kids, they're fighting to get to the big leagues, and they're fighting to get to pro ball just like we are. But you know, they're overcoming a bunch more obstacles to get here. So their drive is, you know, in some cases, you know, you think like better than ours. So it just, I would definitely taking back, you know, that the sport of baseball is hard in general, and all the people fighting for those spots, it's even harder. So the drive to just compete every day and to get better every day was something that I felt when I came back home was something for me.
Do you buy the thought that team positions can impact at bat, and if you thought about that?
You know, it's one of those things. I think they're 2 separate things. I think there are certain keys that you have with, you know, just being comfortable that can be changed. But obviously, the more you do it, the comfort comes back. And you know, I played right field for a long, long time, and you know, I was comfortable out there. And I think becoming comfortable at first base will just be kind of the same thing.
What's the hardest part? Is it having to stretch out and get the ball? Because I mean, that's obviously a very important. People don't realize how important first base is. Because I mean, if the ball gets past you, extra bases, all kinds of things can happen.
You know, I joke about it with, you know, Rudy Cox. You know, we're kind of the offensive line. That's the best way you can say it. You know, we miss a block or we miss a ball in our case. You know, we're like, wow, look what they did. They messed up. But if we catch a ball on a regular basis, you kind of go under the radar. and that's the way you kind of got to look at it. You know, we play a huge role, and but you know, we aren't always glorified for our role. But you know, there's a bunch of different things. But I definitely think just being able to read the throws from all different kinds of guys and different angles from, you know, different parts of the field is just one thing I had to pick up on.
Is that the hardest part? Is just having to dig balls out? I mean, how hard that is?
Yeah, definitely, and obviously just being able to read hops. Reading hops, you know, off the bat is tough. You know, if you got a lefty power hitter and he spins one at you, you know, the hops is just going to be something you're going to have to struggle with, and the only way you can learn that is by repetition.
So, what are the main differences from this time now to how it was last year when you were first coming in?
Obviously, you know, last year coming in, I had no expectations. I wasn't expected to do anything as a high school guy, and I kind of came in and just played the game the way I've always played it. Just went out and have fun. And you know, I think expectations are there in some aspects coming into this year, but the big key for me this year is just to go out and have that same drive and that competitive level and still enjoy the game. Because, you know, at the end of the day, this is a game. This is not a job. This is not a job to me. This is something I've enjoyed and I've loved throughout my whole life, and I just got to keep it that way.
How's the motivation for this team when you have, you know, a little taste of the championship like the run you guys had in the conference, and then kind of, you know, stumble there in the NCAA's? The regional's been a big question here for a while. What's the talk amongst players and, you know, the goals for you guys this year?
Obviously the returners, you know, we got a fire that's been lit, and it's something, you know, that won't go out until we get to Omaha. And I think us being able to pass it on to, you know, freshmen and transfer guys coming in, I really think it's rubbed off on them, and they even have that same drive and that same feeling like they were even there themselves. So to be able to have kind of, I guess, a chip on your shoulder in that aspect, and to just kind of we've been fighting for that, you know, in the weight room, if we're running, if we're, you know, getting extra cuts, you know, throwing a little extra, whatever it might be. I think that, you know, that's been the sole drive throughout this whole process.